Conflict. It happens. Conflict is neither good nor bad. Conflict is an indicator of an incompatibility, a difference in idea, desire, or activity, a disagreement, or a miscommunication. If you've taken any type of conflict management assessment, then you know there are different approaches people use to deal with conflict. But what about conflict between people from different cultures? Intercultural conflict is the implicit or explicit emotional struggle or frustration between people of different cultures over perceived incompatible values, norms, face orientation, goals, scarce resources, processes, and/or outcomes in communication situation. We all have culture-based conflict lenses. Additionally, we all have a different approach to studying conflict styles. The dispositional approach emphasizes having a predominant conflict style which is learned or dependent upon personality. The situational approach stresses the importance of how the topic or the situation may shape the style that will be used. And a systems approach combines both by considering that although people have a predominant style, they may modify that style based on the situation or based on the responses or reactions of others. I want to look at and deal with intercultural conflict, specifically between people from the United States and Honduras. The following are general values and general tendencies. However, each person has a part of all of these values, but they vary in how they use them and respond and approach to conflict. Let's put on our United States cultural lenses. In general, in the United States, people are low context communication. They're direct, clear, and explicit. Disagreements are expressed and addressed. People from the United States tend to be individualistic. The emphasis is on personal opinion, goals, and rights. People from the United States tend to be task-oriented. The focus is on the results and has an outcome-driven mode where a clear action plan, a resolution, and closure to the conflict is needed. People from the United States have a low power distance. They're more comfortable questioning those in authority and having informal interactions. People from the United States, in their conflict approach, debating and having this open discussion may be seen as healthy. Let's put on our Honduran cultural lenses. In general, Hondurans are high context communication. So that's indirect, relying on tone and nonverbal cues, the context, and the people have a shared understanding. Hondurans tend to be collectivistic. So the emphasis is on group harmony, family, and respect of the community. Hondurans tend to be relationship oriented. So their focus is on relationship and feeling issues and a long-term compromising negotiation mode. This is where people are trying to find that middle ground and giving up on something in order to maintain that relationship. Hondurans tend to have high power distance. That means they have more respect for authority and will use formal speech. Hondurans, with their conflict approach, is they may try to avoid that direct confrontation. There are 5 skills that are critical to flexible intercultural conflict management: facework management, mindful listening, cultural empathy, mindful reframing, and adaptive code switching. Facework management refers to how people try to protect or fix their image, either through self-orientation facework, that's protecting one's own reputation or saving one's own face, or others-oriented face work in helping somebody else save face or protecting their reputation. People from the United States having conflicts with Hondurans can help Hondurans save face or not humiliate them by acknowledging the concerns and the obligations that Hondurans have to the entire group. Additionally, people from the United States can pay attention to what is being said picking up on that nonverbal communication as well, and trying to see the situation from the Hondurans' point of view. People from the United States can take responsibility and apologize if they do something wrong. And they can give recognition and appreciation to the whole team or the group of Hondurans. Hondurans having conflicts with people from the United States means they can honor others by sharing their thoughts and opinions, giving feedback and acknowledging what is being said, like, I hear you or I understand. A Honduran can complement the person's individual ideas and efforts and can be assertive, not passive aggressive and not aggressive, but to be assertive. In conflict, it is best to be kind and prefer one another in the way that is honoring in their culture. It's not kind, and we're not preferring others by honoring them in the way that we want to be honored. Mindful listening is focused attentiveness to the cultural and personal assumptions that are being expressed, which continues to save face. It is also genuinely hearing someone else so they feel seen and heard and respected. It invites us into this mutual understanding and collaboration, which is also shared power. People from the United States may need to slow down and give some space and resist the urge to interrupt and talk just to fill in the silence and not rush or correct Hondurans. People from the United States need to pay attention to what is not being said, those subtle cues, and make sure that the Hondurans are not just yielding to their opinions out of politeness or respect, such as, it sounds like, or help me understand this. Hondurans should not withdraw or go quiet to avoid that discomfort. Hondurans should listen with curiosity, not defensiveness, and not assume the bad intentions of another person, such as, could you explain to me what you meant? Or can we slow down for a moment? In conflict, it's best to be quick to hear, slow to speak, slow to become angry, and to believe the best of every person. We are not mindful of our listening when we rush to share our opinion or remain silent while harboring bitterness. Cultural empathy is both accurately understanding how someone from a different culture feels and experiences things, stepping into their cultural shoes and showing that understanding is in one's response. So being able to show that you understand in your response to somebody. People from the United States should not assume that silence means agreement and should recognize that even though emotions might not be expressed openly, they are still deeply felt. People from the United States should use a softer tone and body language to create space for Hondurans to feel safe in sharing, such as, I'm sorry if I came off too strong, or I really want to understand what happened. Hondurans should practice clearly saying how they feel and express their opinions or cultural reasonings without fear, such as, I didn't want to disappoint you, or I didn't want to create any problems. In conflict, it's best to value others above ourselves and to look to the interest of others. We need to share in one another's joy and grief and live in harmony with one another. When we only understand our own culture, we can become self-centered and ethnocentric. Mindful reframing means looking at a conflict in a new, more positive or understanding way, or changing the way we and the other person think about what happened so that we can both solve the problem and respect one another. People from the United States can shift from blame to curiosity, from you didn't do your part to I wonder what was going on that made it hard for him to finish, or reframe intent. So moving from you don't care to maybe you're stressed and overwhelmed, and honoring both perspectives. So, such as Maybe we're both trying to do the right thing, but in different ways. Let's figure out how we can work together. Hondurans can soften conflict with empathy. They can move from, you hurt me, to maybe they were busy, or maybe it was a misunderstanding. Hondurans can reframe the problem as shared, from this is your fault to maybe we both had different expectations. And Hondurans can use respect to reset the tone, such as, I respect you a lot, and that's why I want to find out a way through this together. In conflict, it's best to show mercy, not to judge or condemn, to forgive and be forgiven. We need to intentionally focus on what is true, what is right, what is pure, what is lovely, what is admirable, what is excellent, and what is praiseworthy. Adaptive code switching is changing the way we act or speak to fit in with a different culture's expectations, especially when they are different or clash with our own values. It's purposefully adjusting our behavior to communicate better and to show respect. There are two modes of code switching. There is behavioral or functional code switching. That's a surface level outward changing and adapting. And the other mode is a dynamic or integrative code switching, which is balancing who you are inside with the culture around you. People from the United States or Hondurans who change the way they adapt and the way they talk and act on the outside are behaviorally or functionally code switching. People from the United States or Honduras who find a way to stay true to themselves while also connecting with others are dynamically or integrative code switching. Lengthy foreign living experiences, bicultural and multicultural individuals growing up in a diverse household, third culture children's adaptation experiences, and a willingness to encounter differences have been found to enhance creative tendencies or this integrative code switching with individuals. In conflict, it is best to become all things to all people. This means that we might save some. Improving our intercultural communication skills may decrease conflict. However, intercultural conflict is still inevitable. Flexible intercultural conflict management means handling the conflict with people from different cultures in a respectful and a thoughtful way, striving to understand one another, remaining calm, and working towards solutions that work for everyone.